and welcome back to Fiber Dragon. My name is Jessica. I'm also known as Aikika Dragon on Ravelry, and yeah, welcome to episode 18. So it's been a minute. There was just some stuff that came up. I was having quite a bit of pain knitting, and I was trying to figure out how to deal with that. So I ended up stopping knitting entirely for a couple months, and then I started to get depressed and was dealing with that. So yeah, lots of stuff has happened. So I am back to knitting. I am trying to be very careful about listening to my body when there's pain now. The accident has changed everything. So but enough of that. So I'm back and let's get into it. I just realized I forgot to grab something to show you. So hold on, let me go get it. And oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Okay, professional. Anyway, I have some finished objects to show you, and the first one is my Infinity Blanket by Maxim. So here's the thing. While I was dealing with the pain and just struggling to knit at all, I stopped logging everything, so I have absolutely no idea when I actually finished this. I don't know. I know I got it done in time to send it for Christmas, and here it is sitting in my lap, so I still haven't sent it. But so this is my Infinity Blanket by Maxim. It's, like I said, I don't know how long it's been on how long it was on my hooks, but it is now finished. I did use Starlette yarns in the colors Natural and Red Wine. Let's see here. Yeah, that works pretty well, I guess. So it's a big blanket. It did not, I'm telling you, I think my impression of what a small blanket is different than the rest of the world's. I kind of envision more of a lap blanket. This just feels huge. But I did leave my progress keeper in, so that's good at least. So it was knit on the diagonal, so I think I just finished from here down since the last time you saw it. It is lovely, it is soft. I am going to finally send it out. I think it's beautiful. So yeah, it took me, so I know I got it done before December, and the last time you saw that was in August. And let's see, let's look at my notes here. If you had seen it in August, it would have been on my needles. So it was on my needles for 45 days and then, so, you know, add an extra 3 months to that, 4 months. So, I genuinely don't know. This was probably the first thing that I got done because now I lost the progress keeper. I could crochet a little bit more than I could knit. The pain wasn't bothering me as much, so I was able to finish this. But then the pain started happening when I was crocheting too. So I ended up stopping everything. Oh my gosh, there it is. I found it. So, blue-ringed octopus off, and I will get this in the mail probably next week, she says, hopefully. This is a gift for my dad. It's been a long time coming, and it needs to get sent. So that will be on its way. And then the next thing I finished was what I was calling my Voodoo Socks. They are right here. Again, I did not log how long this took me. I was sad that I had slowed down my knitting so much, but here they are. They are in the colorway Humans by VK Yarns. And I used the basic sock pattern by Summer Lee. I use an elongated toe from Nitty Natty, and I basically I knit a basic sock. I have a sock recipe that I really like now for myself, and I did that. So in finishing these, I think they were on my needles for about a month, but that's just a guess. So in finishing these though, I did finish all of the colorways that I was doing in the series, which I told you I would actually show you. Now I washed most of these, but I do wear these almost every day. And so they get a lot of use. So there's almost always one that's dirty. So I will say they wear very well. I wear them a lot. I wear the heck out of them. I throw them in the washing machine and then I air dry them. So I have the Wollelfe socks. I'm not doing these in order because I don't remember what order I made them in. I know I did the Poison Dart Frog first. So Poison Dart Frog, Wollelfe socks. I know I did the Mantis Shrimp socks. And these are worn, so excuse that they're stretched and probably dirty. The Blue Ringed Octopus socks, which is the marker that I just showed you. The Red Bellied Snake socks. And finally, the Human socks. So the way I did them all is I did, this is probably the easiest one to see it on, 12 round cuffs, 2 knits, 1 purl, and I would do 4 in the contrast color, 4 in the main color, 4 in the contrast. Then the main color, heel flap and gusset, and the elongated toes. So in the contrast color. I did that for every single pair in the colorways that I got, and I absolutely love them. I wear them all the time. I wear them in the summer, I wear them in the winter. They're great socks, and they're really good quality wool, so I would recommend these for anybody. She has other colorways. I know she has a Galaxy series, which I am thinking about getting, but I'll get more into that later. But I love these and I will wear them to death. That's my plan. Along that same vein, I did end up making, because I had some leftover yarn. Oh no, I forgot to grab something else. Socks for my kids out of that leftover yarn. I don't have them with me because they were given to them and I don't have pictures. But I just made longer versions of the socks without the contrasting colors because I didn't have enough of the contrasting colors. So, and those are being worn and used and loved. So that is what I finished. I am perilously close to finishing the Cercis top. So this is still a whip. It is by Amelie Designs, and it's been on my needles for 7 months, which is absolutely shocking to me. I would have finished this yesterday because I finished the sleeves yesterday, except for I decided I did not like the bottom hem because I had forgotten to change needle sizes. So it was still in the larger needle and I didn't like how it was looking, so I pulled out the hem and restarted it, and I think I have about 5 more rows to go and then it'll be completely done. I love this top. I love the yarn. I'm excited to see what it looks like once it's been blocked. It is large and comfortable and it makes me very happy. The only thing is, if you remember, this is Wollelfe yarns in the colorway Peach Blush. I think it's, yes, Wollelfe yarns. And it is perfect. Her fade is perfect. It is brilliant. It is beautiful. She does a fabulous job. What I did not think through is that you make the entire top and then you come back and do the sleeves. Therefore, by the time I got down here, I would be at the darkest colors of pink. So I got to the top and I realized, well, my gosh, that is a strong, strong contrast. So this sat on my needles for a long time while I looked around for some yarn that I thought might ease the contrast a little bit. And I just wasn't finding anything that I liked. So I gave up and I was like, I'm just gonna use the yarn that I have. This is silly, it is what it is. So I just continued on in the dark pink in the sleeves. It's not my favorite that I've ever done. Given my choice, I would have knit the sleeves differently. I don't know how. I would have probably asked for 2 skeins of yarn actually, and just kept aside a fade for the sleeves. And I would have had to knit them together at the same time, which would have been a pain, but that's what I would have liked to do if I were to do it again. However, it does remind me a little bit of a baseball shirt with the way the colors just stop and go, and that's fine. I really don't mind. I still think it's beautiful. It looks like a flower petal. I'm still gonna wear it. So, where I was last time you saw this was, there's Terry, my mantis shrimp progress keeper, was there. So I knit all the way down to the bottom. I did knit the hem, and then I finished the sleeves, but I've decided to pull out the hem and reknit it. So, yeah, so this just needs to be finished, and look what happened. I don't know what this is or where this came from. It is on the back of the shirt. No idea. So hopefully that'll come out. Looks like coffee or tea or something should not have had around my knitting. So that's the Cercis top, and that should be done today, I think, if all goes well. So that's that. Another thing I did start, oh, I forgot to tell you too, in my finished objects, I finally finished the hem on my flirt skirt by Claire Jackson. Yeah, finished the hem. I've worn this and I love it. It's adorable. I do usually wear it with leggings because, well, it's been cold, and yeah, absolutely adorable. If I could do this again, or if I ever decide to do this again, I'm going to get a wider elastic for the top, just because I feel like it would hold up better on my body, and yeah, I would just get a wider elastic. It's adorable the way it is, and it works fine, but I would like the look and the feel of it if it just had a little bit more stability up at the top. I love this skirt. So while the hem was a daunting task, I did finally finish it. So, hooray! And then finally, not finally, I also started another Musselburgh hat by Isolda Teague. I am using the colors Malabrigo Mechita in Cielo y Tierra, which I believe means sky and earth, I think. That's a guess. I'm getting close to the halfway point, I believe, if not kind of right at it. It is not that teal in real life. It is actually much more brown and dark. I don't know what's happening there. That's fair, and it's still pretty teal. I don't know, but it's beautiful. It is not quite that teal, and I'm loving it. It's a nice, easy knit, and something I can take with me on the go when I'm going places, and don't have to think about it. It'll be great for swim meet time. So just around and around, and I can still talk and focus and everything. I have my Poison Dart Frog Progress Keeper on there. So yeah, this has been on my needles for, did I say 17 days? And that's a guess, 17 days question mark. I really did not keep track of anything, and I was so frustrated, but I'm getting there. I'm kind of accepting my new reality, and I'll get back to it, I think. And just be realistic that this stuff is going to take me longer now, and that's okay. So I still love to do it. And the last thing I have, here I go again, back into the closet. You all will remember that I was going to do a scrap blanket, and my original plan was I was going to crochet the pieces. I think I even have those with me, and then put them all together in a cute little scrap memory blanket type of thing. And I loved that idea. Yeah, I crocheted test squares. This one I felt like was too small, which was the original pattern, so I just expanded it up. Excuse me. And I love them. They're beautiful, they're adorable. It would make a wonderful blanket. But my reality is I was taking a bunch of scraps and putting them into square scraps. And I could not face where I'm at right now crocheting these all together, as much as I love them. I did not have a neutral to go in the middle. I did not have, and so I was looking at having to buy more yarn, and I didn't, and I just felt like, okay, so all of these are just going to be sitting around, and that's not where I wanted to be with this stuff. So while I love them, I ended up shifting gears, and I moved into a true scrap blanket. It is called the Giant Square Scrap Blanket by Laura Peters, and it is a free pattern on Ravelry, and it is truly, I just pulled out the needles, truly a scrap blanket. So this will be a square. It's all just tied up right now so that I don't lose stitches, but you can see there's, you know, my humans, there's the leftovers. Is that, I think that's, yeah, I don't, so, and I just started picking up scraps and going to town, and I started going like crazy, and I could see the scraps disappearing out of my stash, and a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. This blanket will just become a blanket for my dog that doesn't currently have a blanket, and she'll love it and I'll love it because my scraps are going, and I'm going to put literally any scraps that I have. It doesn't matter the size, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to, once I get to a scrap size amount, into the blanket it goes, and then if this blanket gets too big, I'll just finish it off and start another one. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. I'm very happy with it. Is it going to be my crowning project? No. But I'm happy with the results of this. So yeah, you can see this was the blue from the Wollelfe socks, and these are from some other projects that I've done, and it just took a huge weight off my shoulders, and I'm very happy with this. I actually ran out of scraps and was like, well, I guess I'll need to work on something so I can get more scraps, is actually what I said to myself. So that's a good sign. So I'm not counting days that this has been on my needles. I did start this 18 days ago. So at the end of January, I started this at the end of January. And I'm not gonna count days because it's entirely dependent on just when things become available. So I just wanted to let you know what I'm ending up doing with that. And that is what has been on my needles. And I'm feeling pretty good about it. The other thing that I've done is I decided I had to do something when I could not knit. Or I was going to just be super, super sad. Like, I have other things that I do. I like to go for walks. I obviously have my games and things like that, but I was in a space that I needed to do. So I should take this out. So I picked up a new old craft. I have not done cross stitch for years, and I decided to give it another go. So I picked up a cross stitch. This is not ironed, which apparently people do. I don't know what I'm doing here. Anyway, I have decided to start stitching. I will put up a picture of the finished thing here if I can figure this out. Octopus by Stitching Jules Designs. And I am using Cottage Garden threads in the color Ezekiel. The pattern is a monochrome pattern, so she actually calls for just DMC black, but I wanted to have it like with octopus colors, which I've gone back and forth on. Maybe I'll just end up doing this in black again at some point, because all the variegation in this thread, the pattern may get lost, but it's looking okay. Anyway, this has been going on. I've been working on this for 11 days now. Took me a while to find a project to do that was not knitting or crocheting. I started searching for a pattern that I liked, gosh, in November, October maybe? Yeah, I was struggling, and so I finally found an octopus pattern that I liked, which is difficult because I'm very picky about how an octopus looks. I don't like it to look too cartoony. And I decided to pick this one up. I'm super excited. I'll learn more and give you more details about like how many stitches are in it. I don't have the Pattern Keeper app, so I am on my own as far as stitch counts go and things like that, so I'll just tell you when it's done. So at this point, I am going to be a monogamous stitcher because it's not my main craft, but it is something that I can do when I'm in pain and still feel like I'm getting that out. So the fabric is 14 count Aida in Emerald Sea, and it was dyed by Barefoot Needle Arts, and it's super soft, and when I first got it, it smelled really good. Now it just smells like me, I'm sure, because I don't smell anything. And I feel like the color's pretty true on this one. It's actually got a tiny bit more green in it, and ooh, you can kind of see the octopus is coming together a little bit. Like, oh gosh, there's his mantle over here, and he's got some legs spiraling out and some suckers, so I'm excited for this one. Yeah, so that's that. I don't really know how to talk about cross stitch, but maybe I'll get there, and maybe I'll get fancy. I know people like to see the backs of these, and let me tell you, as a beginner cross stitcher, you don't want to see this, but that's the back. So it's fine, I'm sure. So yeah, that's my new crafting project. I'm completely hooked. I'm loving it, especially now that I've found a pattern designer, which Stitching Jules Designs. I love the monochrome and then get to be a little bit creative with it. I did used to do some cross stitch a long time ago, and the color changing, I would almost always lose steam and never finish. So this may be the ticket. So yeah, that is my fiber crafts that I've been doing. As far as gaming goes, in Pathfinder, we finished Agents of Edgewatch. I can't tell you when, because I don't know. I could probably look it up, but I don't know. And so Hydrangea Heatherfoot ended up retiring from the police force. She opened up her own private detective agency and lived in her own comfortable home for a halfling with her mastiff dog, who also retired. Pause. So that was that. We did start a new campaign, which is called Bloodlords, and I missed the memo on this one when we started it, and I'm not sure how, because I do have a vague memory of him talking about it, and it's in our notes that he gave us at the beginning of the game. This is technically considered an evil campaign, where your characters are either neutral down to lawful evil. I missed that memo. So at the whole start of this campaign, I was playing a character that just did not mesh well with the story. And so I still also am not super, I'm not one that enjoys the evil characters. That's not something that I get into. So I'm going along because I love the people that I'm gaming with, and I love the game. So who I made Bruxa Craft. She is a ghost. She is a witch, and now she's also part wizard, which, if you ask me, they're the same thing, but one is occult, one is arcana. She can learn both of those magics now. Now, originally, she was not designed that way. She was just a witch, and I had spells. The hex that I chose for her, because we live in an undead world, there's lots of skeletons, a few ghosts, lots of zombies in this part of the world. And so she's not abnormal or anything, but the spells that I prepared were completely useless against anything that we were coming up against. Now, in my mind, I was like, okay, well, we live in a town where everybody is zombies, so it would not it would not make sense to do spells that would go against those people. But they're also still the bad guys that we're fighting, so all my spells were ineffective. We ended up having to rework her, which was so nice that the GM sat down, and he actually like completely reworked Bruxa and was like, here's my thoughts on it, take it or leave it for what you want. And I ended up taking almost all of his suggestions, A, because he knows the campaign and what will be effective, and B, I was not invested in her at that point enough to do so. So he helped me tremendously. She is more effective now. I am enjoying playing her a little bit more now. So that's where we're going with that. There is a Bloodlords game coming up on Friday. It should start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And it is at Pepper Reel on Twitch. And I will put that down in the description notes. Also, I still play my Saturday game that's not streamed, so I will just go over that one. And we are still finishing up, I didn't write it down, Tomb of Annihilation for Dungeons and Dragons. And that is where I am Barbarian. And we are really close to the end. I don't know what we're doing, but we keep missing the end somehow. So we're running around in this huge tomb. We're actually in the tomb now, and I don't know what we're doing. But we have not hit the end yet, but we're very, very close. Like every game, the DM is like, oh, you know, we'll probably be done in a day or two, and then we miss it. So that's what's going on with those. Those are streamed on Sunday starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and that is on Man on Twitch, and I will also put that one down in the show notes. So going forward, because my knitting has to slow down just a tiny bit, I was kind of wondering, what am I going to do with this channel? I do still want it to be about knitting, and possibly cross stitch as well, because I think there's a lot of us who do multiple fiber crafts because we just love it. So here's what are my plans going forward. So let's be clear, I, as you can see, am not a minimalist by any stretch of the imagination, but I have been kind of working towards minimalism for several years now. It started before we moved, but then it really kicked into gear in 2022 when we moved, and just became an easier process for me. And so when I look at my yarn stash, and this is no judgment on anyone, because I love a good yarn stash. I think they're beautiful. I understand people having them and wanting them, but for me personally, I cannot have them. It stresses me out. I don't know, it's just several things about it that actually stresses me out. So what I decided to do, and I've been doing this for months, is a no buy until my stash is gone, question mark. So, and I keep getting close. Okay, well, I'm just gonna buy some yarn for the blanket so that I can do the squares. Well, no, I ended up changing gears so that I'm not buying more yarn. I just need to buy some yarn for the shirt to finish the sleeves. Well, no, use the yarn that you have. It's not going to be perfect. You're still going to love it. So I keep getting close to buying more yarn, so I can't say it's a strict no buy, but that's kind of where I'm at. I need to use my yarn. So I think for my next video, instead of showing you progress, because I don't know how much there's going to be week to week, I'm going to start my D-stash. So what I'm going to do is I will go through with you and show you my stash. It's not huge. It's not, I'm not sure that some would even consider it large, but maybe. Some of the yarns, I don't even know what they are anymore. So what I'm going to do is I will go through that with you, and I will slowly start pulling projects from that. So I will not have yarn hauls. I will not have, you know, I just am not going to. And I'm going to slowly be pulling things from my stash. So if that's something that's interesting you, that is the direction that I'm headed in. I may have a caveat for my birthday, but also I know that there's a yarn in there that I really want to make a pair of socks from. So maybe I'll just start that one for my birthday. So yeah, that's where I'm headed with that. And then I will continue to share what I'm doing, what I'm gaming, what I'm making along the way. But it's not going to be new and exciting. It's going to be, oh my gosh, she did it exciting. So I'm hoping to knit with everything that I have, or have a use for everything that I have. And if I don't, I will end up giving it away probably to my local knitting group. So that's where I'm at. I know it's been a while. I've missed it. I am not an editor. I am not a good, huge tech person, so the editing really bogged down when I reset my computer and I lost everything. So everything's new and different. I found what I could and made what I could, but it's great to be back, and thanks for joining me. Happy crafting, happy gaming. I'll see you next time. Bye.